have a social media policy. You know, on large companies, a year ago when we asked this question, even the big guys didn't have social media policies, which blew me away because you've got people writing about, talking about, representing your brand. Now, full disclosure, at Round Peg, we don't have a formal social media policy. But I will tell you that if you ask Allison or Jay or Jenna or anybody of our team, they kind of know where the boundaries are. They know what we do and we don't talk about online. Should we have a more formalized policy? Yeah. Does it have to be very long? No. I found this great example of a social media policy. It was one page. And mostly it was use common sense. You know, we're not going to talk about this, talk about that. But it really surprised me because you've got companies that are spending lots of money, that have employees playing in this environment. I mean, when I was a carrier, I spent a lot of years at a Fortune 5 company. We had policies for everything. You know, I knew to the penny how much my vendors could spend when they took me out to lunch. I knew what we could or couldn't accept as holiday gifts. I knew which of my employees could participate in certain purchase decisions. I can tell you for a fact, even to this day, Carrier does not have a social media policy directing what their employees can and can't do. At least some guidelines, at least some conversations about what they should be doing on social media and what really is sort of outside the bounds, I think is absolutely vital. Putting your money where your mouth is. What percentage of your marketing budget is directed towards social media? 0 to 5% is the majority, no question. Even in very, very large companies, but that's not surprising because when you get to very, very large companies, they have such big budgets, they can do an awful lot and not really make a dent in their budget. But even here, we didn't have a lot of Fortune 25 companies here. Around 11 to 24 people. This was kind of an interesting, and you'll see it in terms of when companies start looking for outside help. You've clearly got, in the early startup phases, it's very, very little. It's rare that somebody's spending more than 2 or 3%, or 2 or 3% of the total population is spending really very much at all. You start getting in these middle ranges, social media is becoming a significant part of their marketing budget because it goes further than billboards, radio, television. When you get to large companies, it falls off again because their budgets are so large. But in these two categories, 6 to 10, 11 to 24 people, you don't have enormous budgets. So they're dedicating a lot of it to social media because it provides, and they're finding a better return than TV ads.
Before you move on, do you think that this is incorporating time as a budgetary
It is not.
consideration?
Yeah, I would almost guarantee that most companies are not thinking about the time. That tends to be, as we talk to companies, this perception that, well, social media is free. Well, it's not. The tools are free, but social media is not free. The amount of time, you know, go back to that chart. 2 hours a week, or 2 hours a day, 14 hours a week. I mean, because small business owners, most of us work 7 days a week. You may not be in the office 7 days, but small business owners are working 7 days a week. So 14, 15 hours a week, if your billing rate is $100 or $150 an hour, and you start adding that up, there's a huge investment that they're not considering. The investment seems to pay off, though. The companies, and this is just a chart filled with percentages, my God. Okay, so this line is what percentage of your budget, and the height represents what percentage of your sales. You're not spending a lot of money, you're not seeing a lot of return. As they spend a little bit more, you're clearly seeing greater returns. But it may be a little bit of the chicken and the egg. If the majority of your marketing is social media, then of course the majority of your sales are going to come from that. I don't know that it's always a fair comparison. So I'm going to say this is a correlation and not a, I'm not going to say it's projectionable, but there clearly seems to be the companies that are making reasonable investments using a significant portion of their marketing dollars on social media are clearly starting to see results.